Alright guys, back here inside working on the rod here. Ooh, remember last time I told you about spining the rod. Just check it again. Nothing wrong with checking it twice. Let me see if I can get here in the light for you. Stand up here. Been working on some rigs here, trying to get everything tidied up a bit to work on the rod. And so again, spining the rod, you're just going to put your rod down on a hard surface like this desk or the floor or whatever, and you want to just roll it around to see where it naturally wants to bend. It's just the way the fibers go. And then you take a color pencil. I have a color pencil. This is white. You can use yellow. Just use something that'll show up against whatever color rod you have, and you just want to mark it here like I have here. You can mark it as far up the blank as you want. Okay. Now once we get about that far, I can just start aligning it once we get all the things on. So that's about a foot, foot and a half. It doesn't even have to be that long if you don't want. And we do the same thing with the butt end. And this is just sort of a review. I was outside, kind of hard to do that outside. I didn't have my, had to find my colored pencils, but I already have this one marked. But just to review, you just about right. And that's one spot, and that's another one. Huh. Maybe it has two spines to it. That one's actually feeling pretty good there. About right in there. A little bit more resistance there. Well, that's actually settling in there pretty well. Yeah, it's wanting to roll back to this one. Those two are pretty close, but it's wanting to roll back toward the original one that I marked, which is, that way you made the right decision. So, and so then you're just going to come here and just mark that up. It'll come off eventually, but same way, kind of like that. And we could mark it all the way up the blank, but again, I'm not. I just don't think it's necessary. So we have that marked. The next step is take the business end, the butt end, and take your reel seat. Now what we're going to do is measure the length of the handle. I'm going to need to go get my ruler for this. Well, actually, I don't need to get the ruler. I don't know why I said that. But the idea is that, most people don't understand the advantage of building a rod. Is that I can build it according to me and my size. I'm a big guy, got long arms. So what you do is, you measure. The rod is going to be somewhere between the palm of your hand. The reel seat's going to need to sit between the palm of your hand and your elbow, or the palm of your hand and right there in the pocket here, and basically under your armpit. So somewhere between here and here. And so what we're going to do is put the reel seat on and just sort of hold it like that. Measure it here, because if you make it just to your elbow, it'll probably feel comfortable when you're fighting a fish, but it's not going to give you much leverage when it comes to casting. You'll get the most leverage for casting if it's all the way back to your armpit, but you'll have the whole arm out here trying to fight the fish. So, just compromise somewhere in between. If you want a little bit better casting, a little bit longer, a little bit, so you just sort of guess at it. And I've done this enough times with enough rods that I just know about where it is. Past my elbow, about halfway between the elbow and the armpit is the best place for me. And so what I do is just, once you got that place marked, what I do is hold it with your index finger here, and then just mark it with your colored pencil, so that you know that that's where it's going to go. And once you have a decent marking there, oh come on! I hope I'm not being too. I hope the camera's still enough for you. So what we're going to do here is Let's move that guy over there. And so you have that marked, you know, and something like that. And so I don't know how long that handle is. Actually, yeah, that's about where it was. And we'll do the same thing back here. You see what I'm saying? So, and so there you go there as well. We have two nice markings on here to, and that's where you know your real seat's gonna go. That's how you know where you're gonna position the real seat. So that whole thing there, let's go get the ruler and measure it. Actually a lot longer than I thought it would be, but it's about right. So we're gonna take our tape measure, and this is how you know how long your handle's gonna be. 22 3/4 inches. That's about right. 22 3/4 inches. Okay. That's not too bad. So that whole handle, because I don't have a fore handle and a rear handle, this is the handle. Because again, thinking like a fly fisherman, I'm always have my hand on that reel, and that's how I do it. So measure it again. It's 23 1/2 inches. Let's see here. Yep, 23 3/4 inches actually. And we may have a slight little bit of a foregrip there, but I doubt it. I'll probably just set it right there, and you'll probably have the and so once I have that, I am then going to begin the process. Well, actually, once I do that, I'm going to do something a little bit different than most. I'm going to go ahead and put the butt block on here. Alright, so those of you who know, I make fishing floats, and we have lots and lots of cork here. And what I'm going to do is take the cork and use this cork. You can buy these. I had this from another rod build years ago. I never used it. And you can take that and put that on the end, and that's sort of a fighting butt as it would. I may use that. In fact, I'm going to build 2 of these rods, so I may use that one with this one. But the thing is, if you look at the opening there, it almost matches perfectly. So what I'm going to do is just tap out and drill out, and just use this actual cork here on the end, and probably drill it about halfway down or something like that. Not perfect, but yeah, okay. That's definitely much closer to the what we need. So use your drill to get it close, but use this for sort of a final fit. Okay. Close your eyes when you do that. Alright. Now, we can see that fits. That's not too bad. A little bit tighter than I'd prefer, so I'm going to... So whatever butt you use, go ahead and put it on, and get some masking tape and mark here. So when I apply my so that when I apply the epoxy and whatnot, it won't leave all kinds of gunky, ugly marks on the blank itself. a whole lot, just a little enough to like that. And there's a nice natural little stop. So bam. And so what we'll do is go get our rod bond. Mix up a little bit. We'll put rod bond on this part and put our back on there. Alright. Okay, so your U40 rod bond is sort of your standard stuff for building fishing rods. And it's epoxy resin, just like you've seen me use. Ooh. Oh my gosh, can't even open that. Just like you've seen me use with my floats and bobbers and whatnot. Oh. Oh, my goodness, maybe time to I think it's time to buy a new batch. So what you'll do is take roughly an equal amount of each. That's about equal. That's about all it'll take for that one. Yeah. Always wear gloves with it, just easier to do it that way. Always have plenty available. And so then let's see, where did I put that little stick? There it is. And then you just take it and mix it up. Just like the liquid stuff in a cup, except this stuff already comes in sort of a powder. And you can just mix it up on, this is like an old postcard or something, junk mail or whatever. And you just mix it up really well like that. And it should have the consistency of like, you know, Vaseline or petroleum jelly or something like that. That's probably good enough. And so what we'll do there, let's take our, seriously? Oh, I didn't notice I had a little dimple in it. We're going to put it on here. Spread it evenly around here. Get plenty on the ends there. Okay. Alright. And don't worry if you're thinking about, oh, you're gonna waste some of it. Well, you know, you will. I mean, but don't worry about it. I'll just take the excess and just scoop it off into there. That way both surfaces have some sort of a coating on it. So we're just gonna take this bad boy and just put him on just like that. And so now, if everything works the way I want it to, which when does that ever happen in life, right? It should peel on off, right? And leave the rest of the blank clean. That's a nice little trick when you're working with this stuff. Now, the main thing is you don't, if you get this stuff on this glove here, you want to be changing gloves. I go through gloves like crazy. I don't, I use them extensively and heavily. So, so there you have it. And that's gonna be that. Let's take the rest of this tape off, and so I'm gonna let this dry. Then I'm gonna think about how I'm going to put the. So what we're gonna do now is just sort of wipe that off, and then again. And so now there we have it. We have a nice little butt stock on there, or whatever you want to call it. I guess you can. Do rods have butt stocks? I mean, And so now you have a nice little thing, just like this, except it's all cork, all wine cork, and has a little bit of an aesthetic. And once we add the rope in there, hopefully it'll look really, really cool. See, now look at there. Somehow, no matter how much I tried, it still got a little bit of that epoxy on there. No matter how hard I tried not to get it on there, guess what happened? Some got on there. But you just take it, wipe it off. That's how it happens sometimes. But just wipe it off, it'll be alright. And we've got our markings. We can always come back and mark it some more. And those sorts of things. And so, and whatever gap is here in the opening is essentially filled in there with the rod bond. We're going to let this sit overnight. And we may just let this sit the rest of the weekend. And I'm going to probably take some time just to chill out the rest of the weekend until Monday. And so that's how you put your butt on there. That's how you mark it's how you find the spine, mark it, set the placement for the reel seat, and put your butt stock on. And you're just letting that call it a day. You don't have to rush it. This is why I like doing this in the wintertime. I can take my time. I don't have to rush it. I can think my way through things, especially if I'm trying something new. I can just think my way through it and just enjoy the process. I mean, that's part of what this is. Rod building. If you ever get into tying your own flies or jigs or rigs or anything, you know, rod building is almost the next inevitable phase. Because I'll guarantee you're going to find the situation that you're in, there's probably not that perfect fishing rod out there on the marketplace for you, or it may not be at a price point that you want. And so you just build it yourself and be like, okay, this is way better than what I can buy, so go for it. Alright, go and do likewise. I'll talk to you guys, and I'll be probably putting these up every few days because I'm not doing any fishing now. It's really cold outside, and you know, and so we're just going to be working on this most every day. To me, the biggest to me the biggest part of the rod is just getting the reel seat on and in place and aligned and get it all arbored up. And we're doing something different, so I need to think my way through it before I just go videoing it and all that, you know. I always do, but anyway, get you some masking tape and go and have a good time.